Namaste. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Live Readings. Ouch, that candle's hot. There we go. So, welcome back. Welcome to another week where we are focusing on the Wildwood Tarot. And again, I'm using a spread this week. This one is from the original guidebook. It's quite a simple spread, but I think I've been able to kind of weave more into some of these simple spreads. And I think it's a really good way to begin an inquiry. And if you have a deeper question where we need to go deeper, we can do that in a private session for sure. But these initial inquiries are a great way to gain some clarity around your issues. So please go ahead, post your comments into the chat, and I will say hello to everyone. And as always, I really appreciate your support. Your contributions help to keep me going with my channel and so forth. So thank you, as always. Some of you have been really, really generous, and I so appreciate that. So let's go back. Welcome, Mystics Haven. Amy, is that you? I'm sorry, my memory is a little confused. Just confirm that's you. I'm happy to read for you today. Andrew, Well-Tempered Claire, welcome. Danielle, you're back. Welcome. Good afternoon. B. Kestrel, hi. You are lurking. Well, lurking is good. Sometimes we just need to listen and connect with people. Diana La, welcome. Nice to have you here. Hi, Mary Beth. And Patrice, hello. I feel like I haven't seen you for a while in the chat, so welcome. It's nice to have you in the live. All right, so let's go back up to the top. I think this is Amy. I'm not, if you could just pop into the chat and remind me if this is you or not while I refresh this one. There we go. Okay, I think technology-wise, we're good to go. And just as, yeah. So if you didn't see the thumbnail, let's just go over the spread to start. Let's go over the spread. Again, I'm using the Wildwood Tarot. The cards that I'm using are the my newer deck. So this is the one that I have not trimmed. It's matte. It's quite a, I don't know if my hands are getting smaller. It seems so funny. I'm having a harder time shuffling decks these days. I don't know why. Decks seem to be getting fatter and fatter. I actually like the playing card stock, like like Way Home. Like the Way Home Tarot is thinner, and Pagan Otherworlds, it's so much easier than these thicker decks. You need strong hands. I mean, I have strong hands, but and I like to riffle shuffle. So, hello, Effie. Welcome. It's been a while since I've had a reading, and I'm curious what guidance might come through at this time as my life seems to have been at a standstill over the past several months. Okay, so we'll get to Mystic Haven's specific question in just a moment, but this is a 3-card spread, and this is not for Amy, so I will cut the cards. And then we have the issue in the center. I will turn them to face the camera. So we'll look at this. So the first card will be the issue, the underlying issue. And then the second card is obstacles, things we should avoid, things that are not in our highest interest. And then the third card are things that are, so actions to take, things we need to do, things we need to respond to. Okay, so that's the energy of the reading. And if I do need to pull an oracle card, then I will. Do I have any here? I have a couple of oracle cards here. I will do that. Yeah. I'm very excited that Anna's Tarot of the Abyss is on pre-order. Unfortunately, us Canadians cannot order directly from US Games, which really is too bad. I'm very much looking forward to working with Tarot of the Abyss, and so I don't know how I'm going to get my hands on it, but I'll have to wait like the rest of the Canadians. I don't have a lot of black and white decks, so that one is one that, I don't know, I feel a deep healing energy coming from that one. This reading is for Mystic's Haven. I'm going to repeat the question. She's looking for guidance about what might come through at this time as she is feeling at a standstill over the past several months. As always, we ask that these messages be these readings be in the highest for the greatest good, and that no harm be done. Allow the cards as well as my words to be a vessel for your wisdom. Okay. And allow Sadhana to shuffle without throwing the cards on the floor, please and thank you. Okay. I always have to have a sense of humor. The process is right as well too. So I do like to cut the cards with my left hand. I find the cards are very magnetic these days, very, very responsive. So this is the issue. I will zoom in just a second. This is what we're going to avoid. And this is the other energy, the action. Okay, let's get these into the beautiful frame here. And I want to thank Jonathan. I don't know if Jonathan's going to show up, but it was so fun. I don't get readings very often, and I had a reading with Jonathan and Lisa this morning. And if you come into the chat or if you're listening in the background, let me know because I have something to share with you. Okay. Wow. Okay. Cool beans, as one of my teachers says. Cool beans. So 6 of Arrows is the energy that is synchronistic at the spring equinox. So March 21st, March 22nd. I'm not sure what the exact date is this year. What this kind of feels like to me is that perhaps why you've been feeling stagnant is that your ship isn't going to sail for another week or so. And that all that you have been dealing with is building up to this shift at the vernal equinox. This is one of the things I love about this deck. I love these built-in timings because sometimes we can get these extra added layers. So the message, the issue here is one of, yeah, I kind of feel like that's exactly what we need to know, but we will weave all 3 cards together. So we have the Knight of Bows, the fox, is what to avoid. So we want to avoid erratic movement. We want to avoid impulsive, perhaps even that risk taking. The 6 of Swords feels to me very methodical. Like we have been through some stuff and it's time to move forward, and we're dealing with something very specific. And while we don't know exactly where this journey is going to take us, it's not something that's going to go over to right field or left field. It's like we're kind of being guided. And so there's the sense of trust here. So what we want to avoid is distractions. We want to avoid kind of that impulsive behavior. Avoid impulsive behavior. The action that we do want to take. So the action that will help to support us, 7 of Bows. Okay. This totally makes sense, Mystic's Haven. And I'm just looking to see if you're still here, if you've come back. because I would like to, I think I know your name and I just want to make sure if it's not, anyway, okay, you're not there. This makes perfect sense. The preparation for the journey is imperative. The preparation. There is still some preparation to do. I'm sorry, my table is so squeaky. I still haven't replaced my table. So what I would say is that the preparation for the equinox, the clearing, the shifting, this could be anything, right? It could be anything from shifting your spiritual space from one place to another place. It could be the preparation that you're doing to teach a course. It could be an actual physical journey. But there's baggage. There are things that need to be cleared out before you're ready to step forward. So I kind of feel like why you've been feeling stuck is that you haven't acknowledged the importance of this preparation that's necessary before you move forward. Does that make sense? And if there's anything else that any of you see, let me know, because this to me this feels kind of exactly what. Oh, you are here. Message retracted. Okay, good to know that you're here. I will just, I'll wait a second to see if there's anything else. Oh, it's Teresa. Okay, hi, Teresa. Glad that you're here. Does this make sense to you, Teresa? And I am gonna pull out. I feel like I was talking about Anna, and I do have Oracle of Echoes here. So why don't we pull out Oracle of Echoes? Because sometimes this deck has just the right medicine. You don't know how to prepare. So the preparation is, especially with this card being here, the preparation is about, like, think of this just like spring cleaning, getting rid of the stuff that you don't need. It's about making space, Maybe it's about cutting your hair, like getting rid of what you don't need. Clearing space. Like this is such a very specific, simple instruction. And so just let that thought percolate over the next few days. What do I don't need? And maybe this is something emotional as well too. Some emotional baggage that needs to be sent out. Your oracle inspiration is courage. Courage. This ties in beautifully with the present energy of this deck, which is, I'm just going to bring this card up because it's really nice to understand where we are in the Wildwood, in the Northern Hemisphere. Southern Hemisphere people, you are on the opposite in the Six of Vessels. So Northern Hemisphere people, this is exactly where you are right now, where we are. And this is the Five of Arrows and the timing in this deck. And the trouble with this synchronicity here is that the archer is not focused enough. The archer did not take a big breath, a big exhale breath. The archer did not plant his feet. The archer was in his mind. So many things going on in the mind and randomly releasing arrows willy-nilly all over the place. And so this is a message also of focus. Okay, so I'm going to let you sit with that, Amy. Teresa. I'm going to let you sit with that. Thank you. Okay. And we'll go on to the next person. All right. So Mr. Andrews says, oh my goodness. That's terrible. Ugh, intolerance, racism. And mostly, don't you find mostly this is, it's lack of education. It's lack of awareness. It's just terrible. And so part of this, and I'm speaking in general, not just to Andrew and his family, but the power of prayer and intention to infuse the population in general with compassion for all, and to understand we are all connected. If we took everybody's family tree back, we're all the same. And the external representation of, different shapes of eyes, different skin color has created a story and a history and helped us all to develop as souls. And underneath all of that, it's an illusion. And so it's such a shame that people are so attached to the external. It's infuriating. It really, really is. And so I send my prayers to all those souls who do not understand how insignificant the external appearance of humans is. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so this reading is for Andrew, Well-Tempered Claire, specifically for his family and in healing for his family. What is the issue? What is the focus that Andrew and his family would benefit? Like where, So let's find the focus first. That's going to help them the most. Then we'll look to the avoid and the action, the step of action. And I have to tell you, I've really, really been enjoying doing these spreads where there is a focus. It really helps. It really, really helps. And I'm one for doing all kinds of random, just throw a few cards down. But these little spreads just help to bring focus. Okay. I tell you, they're magnetic cards. Okay, so let's just turn this over. That's the Wanderer, the Fool card. There's a new opportunity. It's a new opportunity to educate, to step into a new way of being. This feels like a higher purpose, drawing the ace here. What to avoid? The Three of Bows, the Three of Fire. Avoid the Three of Bows. The obstacle is the Three of Bows. There's something about we see this in the Temperance card as well, too. And this is a really interesting card to be in this position. And I'm wondering if this is to avoid. You see how this figure is standing at the front of the path, almost blocking the path, or perhaps they are opening the way for the path. Oh, I was going to say something and then they're at a crossroads, actually. If you look at this, they're at a crossroads. And I can tell there's going to be all kinds of synchronicities between all of these readings. They have not raised their bow. They're standing, they're greeting. To me, this feels like to avoid leading the way, but let's see what we've got for the action. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, this is very contradictory. I'm going to need to think about this for a minute, because the ancestor is inviting the way, stepping into the wilderness, stepping into the unknown. These cards come very close to each other in the way that this whole Wheel of the Year works with this deck. And so these two cards make perfect sense. What is the message of I almost feel like the message is to not have a mission. To not have a mission. Which maybe to not be attached to your mission. Andrew, this is very unclear for me. It's like an invitation to step into a new way of thinking, step into a new path. There's something significant about this symbol and its connection with the Temperance card. I'm also going to just grab the guidebook and just look at one of the keywords and see if I've missed something here, because I think the key to understanding this reading is to understanding the card on the left. Thank you, Patrice, for the super chat. Thank you. Mary Beth. What did Mary Beth say here? I missed Mary Beth's comment. Oh, there it is. Racism. Yes, I agree. People not recognizing we are all threads of the when of weird, and people also protecting their shadow. Does it feel to you like the card on the left is protecting? You see how they're standing in front of the tree? Rather than going into the intended message of this card, what are you picking up from the it's almost as if that figure is defending the family tree. And so what I'm feeling is that sense of defensiveness is not the way to go into this. To go into this like you would any other journey, with a sense of curiosity and perhaps learning something. I mean, the path through the wildwood it's a wild wood. There's wild animals and wild creatures, and it's not entirely safe every step along the way. Okay, any clarification? Okay, it's Goddess Speaks. So I'm just going to look at one more thing for you here. Is anybody getting something from the symbol on the front of the gown? Because that is something that is speaking to me, but I do have no idea where I want to go with this. It's not 3 of arrows, it's 3 of bows. 3 of bows. It's like perhaps this is an understanding of, because also the key word here is fulfillment in this one. There's this assumption that we have everything, that we know everything, that we are fulfilled, we have everything we need. Okay. But there is, even though it feels like you and your family are on the victim end of this, there is a part of this that is your karma as well too. There's something for you to learn through this process. It's almost like letting go of the family tree, letting go of the family baggage, and just stepping into this with that attitude of, I know nothing. I know nothing. So let's begin a I don't know, like, is this a podcast? Is this some articles in the newspaper? Is it a community, a local community group? Is it just an invitation to gather people together and go, okay, we don't know anything about anybody, and I'm not here to defend my ways or my people, but let's talk, let's open this up. Let's start fresh. I guess that's another big feeling here. Okay, so Andrew, you are wise. What are you feeling here? Amy says the middle card feels a sense of freedom, liberation, embracing the... I'll jump just a second. Embracing the water, the light. The person is not wearing a robe, but something light with a sense of freedom of movement. No one was born hating another person because of the color of his skin or his background or his religion. People must learn to hate. And if they can learn to hate, they can learn to be taught to love. Yes, that's beautiful. Yes, and I think you're right. This is like a calling, like to call the community together. And we're not here to prove that one race is superior to another. We're here to connect and go on this adventure together, so we can support one another and learn. Okay, Andrew, incredible. Thank you for bringing this forth. And I'm sorry that your family is going through this, but perhaps this is a calling for you on your path to step into something you hadn't planned on stepping into. Yeah. Peace. Seriously, peace. Peace to your family. Much love. And when readings are very serious and intense like this, I feel badly just not spending more time. But I think we can get a good start with these 3-card readings. You're welcome, Andrew. Yes, as the snow is thawing, the ancestor welcomes it in the spring. So it's a lovely card of timing as well too. Why am I so unmotivated to return to my job? All right, let's focus on Danielle. Shifting gears to work, responsibility. This Danielle would be, I'm just going to pause here. How many people are on the chat? 16. Okay. For those of you that have been in the Facebook group doing this study with the Holistic Tarot, one of the things with the Holistic Tarot is the use of the first operation, which I'm actually going to do here right now because I think this is highly significant for Danielle's question. So Danielle, I want you to pick a significator, either your astrological card for your sun sign or else to pick a court card. And you are asking about work. Yeah, so we're going to do this first. I'm just going to review this because this is such a really, this can help to answer a lot as well too. And then we'll do a 3 card. So let's use this as a teaching moment. Just wait for Danielle to pick a significator card. And I'll have a sip of something warm. And then I'll explain the process so you can know what we're doing here. All right, chat, come on. Right, I knew that you were Capricorn. We talked about that the other day. Queen of Pence. Okay, all right, so let's go with the devil. All right, so what we do is, so we focused on her, Danielle's question. So then, I'm going to back out just a little bit. Hello, camera. Oh no, what did I do? What did I do? Oh, now you're looking at the ceiling. Oh my goodness. Okay, just bear with me here. I will fix this. And, oh no. Technical difficulties. Technical difficulties at Integrative Healing with Sadhana.com. Bear with me while we fix this. You know, I wouldn't have had I wouldn't have had the, oh my God, this is so funny. I wouldn't have had the patience to do this many years ago. But now it's like, okay, cool beans. We'll just deal with the tech and then we'll fix it and we'll carry on. Right? Sometimes we just got to roll with it, you know? There we go. So this first operation, we shuffle the cards and then we're going to divide it into 4 piles. And so with the left hand, the pile gets divided into, so this goes to the 3rd pile, the first pile goes to the 2nd pile, and then the 3rd pile goes over here. And this pile represents wands. So this is will, this could be work. It's the energy of the wands. This is the energy of the cups and relationships. This is the energy of the swords. So this is the mind. This is the pentacles. This would represent finances, anything of the earth, you know, something to do with work as well too. So both this pile and this pile have to do with work. We want to see where the devil card is, because where the devil card is going to give us some information. It's going to give us some information about the nature. So it's not here. The nature of Danielle's question. And I should probably just go to the last pile because it's probably in the last pile. Yeah, it's probably over here. So let's go here. It's not. It's in the swords pile. So Danielle, what does that tell you that the devil is in the swords pile in relation to your question? or any of you that are in there in the chat, right? So there's the Devil. It's in the Swords pile. So part of that tells me that this is, well, I'm going to wait for you to respond. You know, the fact that this is in the Swords pile is one of disconnection. It's one of not responding to your emotions. Perhaps the emotions are stuck. You know, it's a part of the whole COVID thing of being in the mind too much. Now, if we were doing a real holistic tarot thing, we would just use the pile that the Devil was in. We would use that pile. We could also pull up the significance. But that layer just gives me a little bit of information and more to use as my message for her. Intellectual stimulation or burnout. Okay. Yeah. All right. And I would actually like to do an extended video using that first operation, because it's really been helpful as I've been working with it over really since we started the journey with the Holistic Tarot and the Facebook group. Okay, Danielle, what? Magnetic, again, magnetic cut. So we have the 7 of Stones, healing. Okay. All right. This card just reminds me of a Reiki session, you know, it's like me sitting there with my students all lying on the ground around me. Well, in the old days when I used to connect with my students and teach Reiki, the old days when I could actually meet people in person. 7 of Stones. All right. So remember I said there's a disconnect with the emotions? And if we understand what that means exactly, it's that the emotions are not flowing. So part of me feels that I want to encourage you to dance, like turn some music on and move your body. Start to move the energy in your body. Go and climb up a mountain and break a sweat. And you know, when we think of emotions, we're thinking about, oh, just, you know, crying and bottling up our feelings. But in order to get into the emotions and understand what this lethargy is in your mind, we need to move the body, energy in motion. And so we can tap into the physical and also tap in through painting, poetry, anything. Because you need to stir up the energy, like stir up. It's time to stir up the pot. That's what I'm feeling here. Okay. The Kingfisher is very precise, very, very precise with his action. So the Kingfisher surveys, right? Surveys the river and does not waste energy, in moving forward. So it feels like there's a bit of a process of, because I'm looking at the stoat over here. Okay, so the stoat energy, so this is what to avoid, feels erratic. It feels kind of otter-like, playful and joyful, which totally contradicts everything I just said, by the way. And the stoat is stone, right? I'm sure it's winter. Oh my goodness, what is your message here? The stoat is also a bit of a chameleon. The stoat also brings in the energy of wearing multiple masks. And, you know, sometimes we have a really hard time being who we are with every body in our life. So there may be something to that. There may be something about just making sure you are being exactly who you are. So avoid not being yourself, right? You don't want to be the chameleon. Avoid being the chameleon and allow yourself just to wear that cape that feels authentically who you are. Because this journey going back to work, it's important that okay, I think we've got this. It's important that when you go back to work, you find the job, you find the projects that is exactly right for you, and don't waste your time doing something that isn't going to be fulfilling. And maybe that's part of the impatience as well, too. Okay. You guys aren't chatting very much. Okay. Danielle says makes sense. Sometimes the chat is just scrolling and everybody's like chiming in on the readings and all of that. Okay, here is your oracle card. I also get the sense of avoid being, I don't even know how to say this. Avoid being, you know how you said something about this, it's right there. I know this is worded badly. The kingfisher takes charge and the kingfisher says, I've got this. I know what the words are. This question is not worded badly. So I almost feel like the action is to stand up, smarten up, Danielle. You've got this. You're strong. You're intelligent. You can do this. No more self-deprecation. I also feel that. It's amazing how much you can get. We have a jumper, so I'm going to go with the jumper. The jumper is balance. Balance. Maybe it's a balance between the playful and the serious. Oh, well, obviously that's for all of us. Okay. Whew. Sometimes I have to work for this, don't I? When a reading doesn't make sense, you just take your time. You go back, you talk it through. You talk it through, especially those court cards, right? Court cards are not easy. You need to take your time and just tell the story again. Go back step by step, piece by piece. Alrighty. Where was I? Okay. I'm just going to pop through some of these so it doesn't. Luna, hi there, Luna. That's good. I'm glad you guys enjoy the spreads as much as I do. You have a squeaky chair too? Yeah, I have a squeaky table and I need to get a heavier table, a much heavier table for this spot in the house. Okay. So let's go to Amy. Let's go to Amy. Okay. Amy has someone in her heart you feel a strong connection with. What is the life lesson we can both learn from each other? Okay, so I'm gonna stick with the theme of the reading, but we'll work the specificity of your question into the spread. All right. And hello to everybody else who's not in the chat. I know it's hard to chat when you're on your phone. It's so much easier on the computer. All right, this is for Amy. Let's get some clarity around the person in her heart. Oh, okay, right off the top of the pile. I don't know if you were watching earlier today when I was on. When this card comes up in a reading about relationship, actually, I'm going to go to your question before I say what I was going to say. I want to go to your question again. What is the life lesson we can both learn from each other? Okay. I want to say something about death. And in relationship, you know how we go through those awkward conversations at the beginning of a relationship about past relationships or past relationships, different experiences we've had. Wouldn't it be nice if we could truly, truly put all of that to bed and let that go? And just know in our heart that those relationships, they're there, they're done. And so often in a relationship reading, there's this, not necessarily in the reading, but I get this sense of there's something that's being held on to. And maybe both of you would benefit from some kind of a talk, a ritual, a candlelit dinner where you said, do you know that? Oh, this is a really, really old movie. It was called Same Time Next Year. And it starred Alan Alda and Marcia Mason, I believe. And one of the things they did when they reunited every year was they told each other one positive story about their spouse and one negative story, and then they let it go and they never talked about it again. And of course they did it every year, but that was their thing, because they didn't want to carry the baggage into the beauty of the relationship when they were together. And I've been looking at this card a few times over the past few days, and it feels like there's always this little bit of meat left on the bone. And what if we actually cleaned it right off and started fresh, entirely fresh? How refreshing that would be. If this is what to avoid, I would say it's a message of allow the wild, abandon. because this is a card of connection. It's a card of deep rootedness, right? This is a message for people who need to get to touch the earth, people who need to come down and land. And so this is what you should avoid. So I would say, the message is let yourself go, be free, do exactly what you want to do, right? Unedited in the relationship. That's what that feels like. So to avoid old patterns, avoid getting too stuck to the ground, to the earthiness. Ooh, the seer. All right, so you kind of feel some karmic relationship with this, some past life connection, obviously, by the way the question is worded, a strong connection with what is the life lesson we can both learn from each other. I was talking about some kind of ritual magic and the letting go of the past, and maybe your lesson together is to really move into the mood of this year, into the place of trust and inner knowing, and experiencing a relationship where there are no masks. And that might be a bit of a practice because that's really, really hard. But maybe your lesson is to let go and to, well, you know that expression, let go and let God, but let go and let trust the light. It's very, very profound. And I kind of feel that wild abandonment in the seer. The seer doesn't care what other people think. The seer just is so comfortable in that sweet space between the third and fifth dimension. Yeah, sometimes we get tangled up by fear. I should really move that large jar of tea over here because you never know what can happen. I kind of like this reading, maybe. I really do. All right. Chaos. I really feel what I was saying with this card totally fits with this card. So to allow yourself to be in the reckless abandonment, allow yourself to be like, you don't have to be settled and steady and staid. It's okay for periods of time to be a little bit wild. The other thing I want to share with you. So remember the last reading, that card flew out and I put that down for the last reading was that yours, Danielle? And then I shuffled the deck and I chose a card and I looked at it and I didn't show you. It was this card. It was the same card. So this is definitely Amy's card. Kind of like that. All right. Trust yourself when you're reading for yourself. I hope you all saw my video last Thursday. I really enjoyed doing that, and I want to encourage you all to, have the confidence to read for yourself as well too. Patrice, did you want a reading I'll keep scrolling down to see if you wanted a reading. In this deck, so we're going back to the symbol that was on the Three of Wands, Three of Bows, and also that symbol is in the Temperance symbol. And this is a symbol that we see in a lot of different places. And it's amazing how one symbol has come through in so many different cultures and so many different teachings. You know, it's one of those things where you understand. Here it is in the Mayday card, in the Temperance card. So it is a symbol of the union of the divine feminine and masculine. It is a symbol of the ascension and then the coming down as well too. It is and all of that is based in, you know, all of that provides a healing for us. And so this is why this symbol also appears as the symbol for the magicians, for the medicine, for the doctors. There's a lot to that symbol. As I was flipping through the cards, the Devil card came up. Oh no, it didn't. Well, you had the Devil, not the Guardian. Okay, I won't speak to that then. Next. Oh, you're welcome, Amy. Thank you so much. Sabo, did I say hello to you? Welcome to Sabo. And I'll just keep on scrolling down. You're welcome, Andrew. All right. Where are we? And Joseph is here. Hello, Joseph. Welcome. Okay, there we go. I believe I'm at the bottom. So thank you for the super chat, Amy. While I have time for one more question if somebody wants to ask a question. What I was going to, so for those of you that are studying this deck with me, there's another really interesting association. I should have kept it out. I put it away. And that has to do with somebody did have the Devil, right? This is, oh no, this was a significator for Danielle's card, the Devil. And if you look at the way that the Guardian is in front of this chamber, and then there's a lot of symbols that we can match in this deck. It's really, of course, we could go to the Judgment card, the Great Bear as well too, and bring that one in. But also, if you're reading with this deck, oh, and look at this one too. So we have a different kind of energy in front of the Standing Stones, but that's not the card I was looking for. I am waiting, and I've never had a reading where I have had these two cards together. So it's like this is the skeleton of this one. It's like that's the skeleton of the Queen of Stones. I just think there's a few different cards in this deck that if they ever came up in a reading together, I'm just waiting for it to happen. It would just be so exciting. Yeah. Okay. Well then, barring no other questions, I will say that is a wrap for today. And what is up next? So I'm preparing for, there's a few new classes that are starting. And So make sure you check out my shop for that. And Thursday's chat, I will be on as usual at 6 p.m. on Thursday. Have not posted the thumbnail yet because I have no idea what I'm doing. These things always seem to be better spontaneous. And I do watch a lot of your channels and really appreciate having the time to do that. And I suppose the other thing that I want to say is that I'm going to be on regularly Tuesday mornings with carrying on with different challenging decks with my Hanged Man deck series starting Marielle next week. Be doing live readings on Tuesday, and then on Thursdays I will also be doing my regular tarot chat, but I'm probably not going to be on much more than that because I need to focus on my private clients. And yeah, I just need to make sure that I have time for myself as well too. I've been feeling a little overextended, and so you might not see as much of me on YouTube as earlier. I feel like it was just so much was coming up over the previous few months. I will be on Friday. So Friday on Little Zen Crone Jilly's channel, we will be doing a follow-up to Mindset 2021. And so there'll be a panel of us on her channel talking about how we are doing with our intentions for 2021 and how things are kind of rolling as the year unfolds. So Jilly Little Zen Crone, if you don't follow her channel, if somebody, I'll link that below later. And okay, we can do last one here, sure. All right, this is for Miss Diana. Okay, inner peace with the situation with Dave. All right, so let's focus on Diana. It's so nice when I know many of your faces from taking my classes, because when I say your name and when I start thinking about you, I see your face. Or if I've done a private reading for you, like I know, I feel like I connect more deeply with your energy. All right. So as we turn over the cards for Diana, let's find some clarity into the relationship with Dave. Dave and Diana. How can Diana find inner peace in regards to the situation? Okay, apparently we want to stop shuffling. Oh, good thing Amber's not at the window. There's a kitty staring at me. Okay. Lots of different ways we can look at the pole star card. This is the star card in this deck. There is the Fool in the center. Oh, not in the center. The Fool is down here. The Fool is down here, moving through perhaps a new part of the wood, being guided by the star, being guided by the light, very much in a place of trust. And if we're trying to pick up on the underlying message here, it's one of, again, it's a message of letting go. It's a message of letting yourself be in a place of trust. Let yourself be guided, stepping away from ego, being okay with not knowing. Being okay with not knowing, yeah. And for sure, it's one of hope and peace and tranquility. And so maybe that is the most, important message underlying all of this? Hello, darling in Philadelphia. Welcome to our chat. We're just winding up here. Avoid the blasted oak. Interesting. 1617. And do pay attention to the King of Bows. Okay. So, Diana, is there anything else you want to share about this relationship with Dave? If we were not reading this as a spread, this is kind of a beautiful combination because we are moving from a shakeup to a place of peace. And perhaps this is more of a message of what we need to avoid is dwelling on the pain, dwelling on the drama, dwelling on whatever the earth-shattering thing is that happened between the two of you, because I'm assuming something quite shocking happened between the two of you. Just reading the first two cards, Diana, it looks to me like this is you having the courage. This is you having the courage to move forward on your own, to be in a place of trust, and to know that this is in your highest interest. There isn't really another card in the tarot that has that kind of energy. And then the action. So the action is one of fieriness, feistiness. Like, it's about not losing your fire. It's about just allow your, and I know it's hard because you're probably hurting badly, but to find some way in your day and your week, even if it's just a little glimpse, to let that spark, that feistiness come through. And this is not the page, this is the king. So maybe the action is to really step into a leadership role. Maybe this is about diving into work, finding purpose, finding passionate purpose for your life outside of the relationship. And I know I like to keep this channel rather PG, but the other advice I'm getting here is to just go and have a passionate, affair with somebody. Allow your passions just to shine, just to burn off some steam, to let go. And of course, that doesn't have to be a sexual thing. I think that's also the message of the fiery passion through a work project or something. But because there's just so much energy in those adders, I kind of feel like, there's a lot of different ways that you could let that off. But this is the advice, right? The advice is to step into that, very, very fiery energy. Hey there, Poets Corner. Nice to have you here. Okay, and then let's do an oracle card for Diana. So if you're just, just one card off the top. If you're just coming in now, this is the last reading for today. And I'll be back next Tuesday doing other readings. And you can book a private reading with me in the meantime if you like. Depression. Kind of an important card, don't you think? And very, very polar opposite to the card on the right. This is a very watery card, you know, very watery card. This is a very fiery card. And so there's a sense of acknowledgement here. Isn't this interesting? I've never noticed in this card, but look how the water is drawn. To me, this looks like a mountain. Doesn't it look like a mountain? It's like the mountain, the challenges, mountains representing challenges. She's on top of the mountain. But what I'm picking up here, Diana, is that this is an acknowledgement. It's definitely an acknowledgement of your feelings. And there is a time, there's a place, there is a significant importance for being in your feelings. And when you are feeling sad and when you are feeling overwhelmed by all of this, to stay with the feelings, like to not run away from them. For me, I have to lie down when this happens, either on my bed or the sofa, and I lie down and I just allow the wave, the washing of the emotions to move through me. And I ask that they move through me completely. So then you can step into the energy of the King of Fire. Yeah. Okay. So thank you. Thank you all for being here. And if you come back next week, darling, in Philadelphia, a little bit earlier, I'm happy to read for you then. So take good care of yourselves, and I hope to see some of you on Thursday night. Namaste.